It has all of the puns you could ever want. Oh, what Emma reads when she's sick. 6 out of 5. 10 out of 5. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another monthly reading wrap-up. I can't believe that it's November already. I don't know where this month has gone. Actually, I do, and I will tell you where this month went. The first week of October, my husband and I went on vacation. It was lovely. Last camping trip of the season. And then we got back and we were like feeling a little tired, but we were like, oh, like it's okay. It's because we were on vacation. We're just struggling to get back into the swing of things. No. Sickness. So much sickness. All of the sickness. It wasn't the Rona, but we had a virus and were incapacitated for about 2 weeks. And I'm talking like I couldn't like scroll on Instagram. I couldn't go on my computer. I was so nauseous. I couldn't even watch TV some days. I just couldn't, but I could read. So we got a lot to get through today. So let's get started. First book that I read was Fangs by Sarah Anderson. I got this was in my last book haul. Look at those sprayed edges. I'm just like obsessed. 5 out of 5. Love it. So cute. So quirky. All of the things. It is a graphic novel, 18 plus, follows the love story of a vampire and a werewolf, and it has all of the puns you could ever want. It is hilarious. It's a quick read because like it's a graphic novel and it's tiny, but there's just so much to love. It's just, I couldn't recommend it more. So that's Fangs. Next on the docket we had Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. 5 out of 5. Worth the hype. Following the love story of Achilles and Patroclus, and just beautifully written. I was very immersed in the story and in the setting, and this is a sad book, but it is worth every amount of praise. Highly recommend. 5 out of 5. Right. Next, my first DNF of the year. Oh, okay. So, A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I'm not going to rate it because initially I had borrowed the audiobook of this from the library, and this was when I was on vacation. And I don't know if it was just the timing, and so I was like kind of trying to listen to it while we were on vacation doing camping, or if I just like didn't vibe with the narrator of the audiobook. I'm not sure, but I got like 5 hours in. I think it was like chapter like 15. It was very atmospheric. It was great, but I was like, you know what? Like I'm just not digging this right now. And then it was due, so I returned to the library. And I was telling my good friend this, and she was like, Emma, just read it again. Just try, give it a try. Give the novel a try. She has the paperbacks. She gave me the entire series and was like, read it. So, okay. I discovered this book because I think it was recommended on one of Darling Desi's fall recommendation lists. And it's supposed to be like Harry Potter meets Twilight kind of vibes, following a love story again between a vampire and a witch. So like the concept is there. I'm gonna give it another shot, but reading it myself rather than listening to the narrator this time. So I DNF'd it for now, to be determined how I feel about it in the future. And that is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. Now we get into what Emma reads when she's sick. She brings out the childhood favorites. This is The Witches by Roald Dahl. This was one of my favorite books as a child. I loved Roald Dahl. This and Matilda were probably my favorite, and the BFG. They're all amazing. Highly recommend if you're just like looking for a cozy read, or if you're feeling crummy, pick up one of your childhood favorites if you still have them, or grab it from the library. It was great. And it follows the story of this little boy, and he's orphaned and then put in the care of his grandmama, and she knows all about witches and where they live and what they look like and how to recognize witches. And so she teaches her grandson how to recognize witches, and then they stumble upon some, and it talks about how they overthrow the witches who are on their mission is to wipe out all of the children of England and then the world. So it's a really cute story, and this edition that I have, which is the edition I had as a child, is illustrated. And let's see if you can see that. And it's just a really sweet story, and I love it very much. 5 out of 5. Whoops. Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This was a very good book. I will say 4.5 out of 5 for me, because I was able to figure out the ending before the end of the book. So not my favorite, but still very good. We're following this character, Maggie, and she is going back to her childhood home after the tragic passing of her father. Not an earth-shattering concept. However, Maggie has been followed her whole life by the fact that her father wrote a book about this house that they lived in when she was a child, and the house was supposedly haunted. Apparently they lived in this house for 20 days and then they ran for their lives because it was so haunted and it was so scary, and they had to leave to protect their lives. And so now, and this book became like famous very quickly, and so this was just looming over Maggie her whole life. And so she's now, but Maggie has no recollection of any of the events that take place in the book. So she's like, okay, I'm going to go back to this house because it was left to her in her father's will, and I'm going to see if it was really haunted. And it was a good read, but not my favorite Riley Sager book thus far. So that was Home Before Dark. The next book that I read this month was Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, and I love it. 5 out of 5. It is everything it promised to be. High fantasy, low stakes, so cozy, and you will want a cinnamon bun or a Cinnabon or some kind of baked good whilst reading it. It follows the main character, who is an orc who has left behind her days of pillaging, and she has gone on to open the first coffee shop in this small town, and it's lovely. It comes out in paperback, I believe November 8th, so you can pick up your own copy if you don't want to get the ebook copy. Highly recommend for this fall season. The next book that I read was Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman. This was one of my impulse buys that was on sale on Kobo for $2, and it was my favorite book of the month. 6 out of 5. 10 out of 5. So good. So if you are familiar with the Practical Magic movie starring Nicole Kidman, I believe, and Sandra Bullock, that was actually based off of a book, and this is the prequel to that book. And so it follows the original witch in the family, Maria Owens, and she is alive during the Salem witch trials, and it was so fantastic. Such an immersive world. This is, I think, my favorite new author that I've discovered for myself this year. I love this book. So much so that I finished it and immediately said to my husband, I need to pick up the rest of the books in the series. And did just that, only to, like, 2 days ago, find out that one of the books I picked up then again went on sale for $2 and I paid the full $12.99 price tag for it. Oh well. Live and learn. Be patient. Anyways, I don't care. I am looking forward to reading the rest of the series. There are 4 books currently in the series. And so I will be reading the rest of those. Cannot recommend this book enough. Highly recommend. And that is it. That has been the reading wrap up for the month of October. I can't wait to read more in November, obviously. Getting ready for those like Christmassy reads. Very much excited for that. And hopefully no more sickness, knock on wood, in the household, which will result in me actually posting more things and being consistent. But you know what? That's life. So that's all for today. Have a great day, guys. Thanks so much. Bye.